Bethany Joy Lenz has lived a Hollywood story unlike any other. She scored her most famous role back in 2003 as the lovable and loyal Haley James Scott in One Tree Hill. The series followed a group of American high schoolers as they navigated life, love and 9 seasons of drama.
If you're looking for Nathan, he's in my bedroom. If you're looking for a black eye, it's in my fist.
But what fans and friends didn't know is that the cult favourite actor had also been sucked into a real-life cult. Now Bethany is telling the incredible story of her decade-long double life in a new book, Dinner for Vampires. Shares the truth behind her time in the celebrity spotlight and how she ultimately escaped the organisation that almost cost her everything.
And Bethany Joy Lenz joins us live from Nashville. So lovely to see you.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
This is a pretty unusual story, even by Hollywood standards. Tell us how your Bible study group morphed into something far more sinister.
Well, it took a long time. It was a slow burn. It wasn't something that was immediate. I would say it probably took about a year for a pastor from another state to come visit and slowly... I mean, this is what narcissistic gaslighting and abuse really looks like. It's a slow burn. It doesn't happen immediately. So what started out as something that was really happy and healthy and a lovely group of people just wanting to spend time together and share our faith morphed into something that felt so controlling and confusing. But it took a while. It wasn't overnight.
Really interesting to hear you talk about it as a slow burn, because sort of piece by piece they took control of everything, right, from your finances to even contact with your family. So what were some of the tactics they used to keep you loyal, to get you loyal and keep you loyal?
Yeah, you know, isolation is one of in narcissistic abuse, whether it's in a group format or whether it's in an individual relationship or a toxic work environment or family, the abuse is the same. The top notes are the same. There's this love bombing phase where you can do no wrong. They love you. They adore you. And then there's a devaluation phase where you're suddenly confused because now they kind of hate you and you don't understand why. It must be me. It must be me. Usually people with this personality disorder are able to figure out what your personal Achilles heel is. For mine, it was community. I grew up an only child and really longed for family. And so that was the way in for me. But isolation became one of the biggest tactics because there's a fear created around trusting anyone who doesn't believe what you believe, a fear of trusting anyone who's outside of that circle. And the less people you trust, the less opportunity you have to get a second opinion on whether or not it's you or them.
And was money the end goal too for this? Were they getting money out of you? You were a successful TV star.
They absolutely were getting money out of me. They ended up walking away with about $2 million. And I write about all of that in my book. And again, slow burn. This was not an overnight thing. But money, I think money was a big motivator, but I think control was the biggest motivator. Again, people with this personality disorder really just want to have control in whatever environment they're in, which is why the title is Dinner for Vampires, because a narcissist or vampire really has no identity of their own. And so they need to latch on to someone else who has an identity to sort of suck it out of them, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it really does.
And so, yeah, go ahead.
No, you carry on.
Yeah, no, and so that's what it really became. I became the dinner for vampires in this setting where I was the person with an identity, but was starting to lose it amidst the person who just wanted to have control over me.
That's fascinating. This was all going on while you were starring on one of the biggest shows on TV for 187 episodes. During that time, did your castmates have any inkling what was happening in your other life, or in your other life, were you thinking everything is actually okay?
I knew that they were uncomfortable with my spiritual life, what I labeled as my spiritual family. And we didn't talk much about it. You know, they related to me as a friend and as a professional, but there was a ceiling on how far we could go in our relationships. I know that they all knew that I was involved in something that many of them called a cult. I don't think anyone really had a clear picture of how in-depth it was, how abusive it was, and dangerous. And I'm just grateful that so many of them maintained their friendship with me through that time and even afterward.
Yeah, a true friend, true friends.
Yes.
Tell us, I know this is in the book, but tell our audience how you managed to get out.
Another slow burn process, but a little faster than getting in. I became a mother, and I think awakening my instincts, those sort of gut instincts that happen when you have a baby and nobody else can really tell you what to do at 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, you need to trust yourself. And I had put that part of myself away for a long time. I thought, I can't trust myself. I had been really gaslit into believing that my gut instinct was wrong. I couldn't trust myself. And so once I started to tap back into that through motherhood, it awakened other parts of me to start noticing what was going on around me and really trust that I was intelligent, capable of discerning what was happening, capable of having an opinion that was outside of what other people around me believed. And through a course of events it was like the perfect storm, it wasn't a storm, it was like heavenly choir, my goodness. Yeah, it was the perfect setting of events that happened, which I also lay out in the book, to be able to lead me into a place of seeing what I was involved in and being able to step out of it.
We've got to say goodbye, but before we go, congratulations on the hit podcast. But how much of a burden has been lifted by telling your full story? Who are you today?
It's been huge. I feel so much grace in my life from the people around me, from my new, much more authentic relationship with God. And I feel like being able to watch myself through the podcast, through Drama Queens, as a younger version of myself, being able to look back at her and love the young version of myself instead of cringe. I feel like so much shame has been released. And I hope that for anybody else who's experienced this, when you read the book, that you will also feel a release of shame from your own mistakes.
Oh, Bethany, it's truly wonderful. It's so great to see you looking and sounding so terrific. Really great talking to you. Congratulations on the book.
You too. Thank you as well. Thanks.
It's a great story. Bethany Joy Lenz's new book is called Dinner for Vampires, is out now.
Incredible story.